Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Pigskin Addicts back again with another video. Now it's officially official. Joe Lombardi has been relieved of his duties as offensive coordinator of the Chargers. Shane Day, quarterback's coach, he faced the same fate as well, too. He's no longer the quarterback coach of the Chargers. Now, obviously, this move was it was pretty much written, in stone after the Jaguars game. Nobody should be surprised by it. Now, before I get going, I get the jokes. I understand all of the jokes about Lombardi and all of this stuff, and I've been somebody who has, partaken in all of the jokes and the comical nature around Joe Lombardi and him not being great. But I, as a man, as a father, as a husband, I'm not going to sit here and celebrate the firing of another man. Right now, I don't know Joe Lombardi from a can of paint. Right, I don't know him. I think it would be safe to infer that he's not in the poorhouse, just based off of his long tenure in the NFL as a assistant coach, based off of, his last name. I don't think that he's in the poorhouse, but I'm not going to celebrate another man getting fired from his job, right? People have families to feed. You don't know people's individual financial situations, so I'm not going to sit here and relish in the fact that Joe Lombardi was fired, right? I do hope that he is able to land on his feet somewhere. And hopefully he's able to continue, getting a check to feed his family, right? So I do wish him the best, but I do think that it is okay to acknowledge that he was not the best person for this job. A lot of people, and I'm not the only one. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was the only one, saying that I don't think Joe Lombardi was great. Even in the 2021 season, where the Chargers finished, as a top 5 offense. I'm not going to say I was the only one, but to me, the writing was on the wall, right? Just based off of some of the things that I seen in high leverage situations, high pressure situations, some of the play calls not making any sense. And obviously when you culminate that by blowing a 27-point lead where your offense is only able to muster a measly 3 points in the second half and not really protect the lead, to me, it just screams that, he wasn't the right person for the job. So it is what it is, right? There's no surprise in this. I do feel good that he will not be the coordinator anymore. But again, I'm not going to sit here and throw a party because a man got fired. That's just not my style. Now moving on, as far as the early indications on who the next offensive coordinator could and should be. Now I think there's going to be a lot of interest in this job, being able to work with Justin Herbert, being able to, kind of resurrect, him. Not that Herbert didn't have any good moments this past season, but to kind of push him to another level. Everybody knows the talent that Justin Herbert is. Everybody knows the crazy arm that he has. Everybody knows what he's capable of. So I think the next offensive coordinator coming in, they're going to be tasked with really, really bringing that out of Justin Herbert. And if it is a younger guy, if it's somebody who has never had head coach considerations before, this could be the job that can push you into a head coaching job. So I think this is going to be coveted around the league. And I think this is probably the best offensive coordinator opening at this point right now. So I think the candidates are going to be plentiful. And I think the Chargers are going to have pretty much their pick of the litter when it comes to offensive coordinator candidates. To me, and I'm going to do some videos. I'm going to go through some of the coordinators, some of the options. I will do like a little series on that. But I just will say right now, to me, the most experienced, and I think the guy who would have the most success with Justin Herbert right now at this point is Frank Reich. Frank Reich, obviously the former offensive coordinator for the Chargers, way back when. Since then he's gotten a lot more experience. Obviously, offensive coordinator of the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles, and just recently the former head coach of the Colts. I do think that he has a lot of experience. I think that he could really do some good. Obviously, being the Chargers offensive coordinator, this is the most important thing he can bring to LA, and it's a run game. A fixed run game and importance in the run game, showing that you actually care, actually give a damn about the run game. I think that's what Frank Reich can bring more than any other candidate can. The Chargers run game has been putrid the past couple of years, right? It has been something that they have went away from. It's been something that they haven't really even shown the want to fix, right? That's something that has to be fixed. And it's not optional at this point. We've seen the Chargers. We've seen what they did this past Saturday night. If they were able to run the ball at, even a little bit, they would have won the game. It's very obvious. It's very clear they would have won the game. When you look at a game like Dallas versus the Bucks last night, Dallas was in a similar position to the Chargers, right? Obviously, they didn't have as many turnovers, but they were in a similar position. They were up by a lot. Going into the second half, they were up by a lot. They come out, they're able to run the ball, right? They're able to run the ball. They're able to get pressure. They were able to do things that the Chargers didn't do. And to me, that is the biggest key, right? That's the biggest difference in this. Being able to run the ball, being able to take time off of the clock, being able to impose your will, especially when you're up by so many points. So to me, that is the most important thing that the next offensive coordinator can bring to LA is a run game, a much improved run game, a power run game, and being able to take a lot of pressure off of Justin Herbert's plate. And I think that's probably the second most important thing now is taking pressure off of Justin Herbert. Obviously, we know what he can do, but it's not fair to ask him to do everything. It's not fair to ask him to save your franchise every single game in and game out. It's just not fair. That's not a fair thing to ask of your quarterback. It doesn't matter how talented he is. You have to put things around him, systems around him that work, right? That work in, tandem with him, right? It is not just him running down the field, making throws, and being a superhero. It's not fair. It's just not fair. And that's what the Chargers have been asking Justin Herbert to do the past couple of seasons. They've had winning records doing it, but no playoff success. If you want to get to the next level as a team, everything around Justin Herbert has to move. It has to move smooth. You just can't rely on hero ball. And I think, with Frank Reich, him coming to LA, it will establish an identity, right? Even if the defense is not good, even if Staley's defense continues to struggle, the identity will be around offensive football, not Justin Herbert, but offensive football, being able to run the football, being able to go downfield, right, with a downfield passing game. I think that's what identity can be established, because as of right now, the Chargers have no identity. Their identity is Justin Herbert throws, right? Amazing Justin Herbert throws. That's what their identity is right now. They don't do anything else well outside of that. And that's obviously a problem, right? All of that came to head in the second half on Saturday night. Now, to avoid another situation like that, you absolutely must hire an offensive coordinator that is experienced, an offensive coordinator that can get the best out of quarterbacks. And to me, Frank Reich has shown that. He's shown that everywhere that he has went. They didn't give him much to work with in Indy, and I thought he did a pretty damn good job, regardless of their quarterback situation. So I like Frank Reich. I think he's the guy for this job, and I think he's going to be available. There are other, hot offensive coordinator type of candidates who I do think will get jobs. You look at a Shane Steichen, a Ben Johnson. Even if you look at the defensive side of the ball, Dan Quinn, D'Amico Ryans, a lot of these guys are out there. They're going to get head coaching jobs, and I think Frank Reich, as good as he is, he's going to be on the outside looking in at a head coaching position. So I do think that he will be available for the Chargers to get, and I do think if they are able to get Frank Reich, I think just with him specifically, if they are able to get him, I think the Chargers, the Spanos family, needs to put the assistant head coach title on him, right? They have to give him some power. They have to be able to have his voice be amplified within the organization so he can talk Brandon Staley out of some of these crazy boneheaded decisions that he makes. I think that only works with Frank Reich. It only works with the guy who has been a head coach before. You can't do that with the guy who hasn't been a head coach before. You need experience, and I think that can work. And I think it can help Brandon Staley develop as a head coach as well, too, because we know that he's staying. He's not going anywhere. So I think that can really, really help this team. But as of right now, those are my thoughts on the situation. Joe Lombardi will not be calling plays for the Chargers anymore. And I do think, again, I'm not celebrating his firing, but I do think it's a good day, and I think it's a step forward. I think it's a step forward for this organization, and we'll see what happens with the new hire. But that is all I got for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Really appreciate it. Shout out to all my new subscribers. Appreciate you guys. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to hit that like button on your way out as well, too. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content. And until next time.